Episode 325 of the TV Dudes, recorded March 24th, 2021. The Lander Cut. This week, 4 hours of the TV Dudes brought to you in all its sepia tone glory. Extra Superman in the form of Superman and Lois on CW, an alien who wasn't in the original version courtesy of Resident Alien on SYFY, and Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, because if Randy gets put in charge, you know he's going to make us talk about them all MCU. But before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Les.
And first of all, I should say, we are not going 4 hours this week, guys. It's not happening.
Oh, come on, please.
Oh, but we have so many Easter eggs and guest stars, and I mean,
I felt so good that we won that debate.
I guess years from now, people can do hashtag release the real Lander Cut.
right?
And,
Yeah.
And then they'll get the weird, incongruous, like future podcast episode that we're just gonna cut in for no reason.
yeah.
Where
All the
Randy
guests
tells
from Beach
Greg
Cop
he's gonna
Detectives
fucking kill him.
return.
And
But really, we just use the audio from Beach Cop Detectives.
Right.
Yeah.
Play again.
They'll get the hour that was us waiting for Les to reboot his computer and me and Kyle just talking about other stuff.
yes, but in slow motion, Randy.
Right. Yeah, we could get this if we play it at half speed. We could get it up to 2 hours. Yeah,
There we go. Yeah.
Only 10% of it.
only 10%.
Will be at half
That's
speed.
his trick. He only recorded 1 hour of footage.
So I haven't
Slowed it
seen
down.
the Snyder Cut. I really doubt that it's only 10%. I think that's bullshit.
I feel,
But-
yeah, I don't know. I want to see the algorithm on
I-
that.
I've heard from a lot of people it doesn't feel like only 10%.
No, even the full speed stuff is slow.
Yeah. We're going to start with an announcement. Kyle is going to be taking a brief hiatus away from the TV Dudes.
Oh, so brief. Well, as brief as my contractor allows.
I thought you were going to say your contract. I'm like, wait, we have
That's what
contracts?
I was like. I
Yeah,
was
we
like,
got
holy shit, what
contracts.
did we write into Kyle's contract? Was that a cocaine wine night?
No, yeah, cocaine wine.
Only sign contracts on cocaine wine.
Yeah, no, contractor, because we're having to get our house rebuilt after it flooded during that freeze. So,
Kyle, I
my-
know you always want to get more HGTV content on the podcast, but this seems a little extreme.
Yeah.
oh my
man.
gosh, we're about to talk about TV Diaries, and just you wait, guys.
Yeah.
But,
You ready?
but yeah,
You ready to have that bus move?
I'm. Oh yeah,
Move the
I'm ready
bus,
for them to
Kyle.
take down the facade. It is not like those shows, not at all. In fact, yeah, a lot more time consuming than we would have imagined. Which we weren't planning for this, so we didn't know what to expect. But yeah, if I can just get my TV den set back up and get back to TV duding in no time. But yeah, I need a few weeks.
So we'll continue on, and we will welcome Kyle back with open arms as soon as we can.
You heard
Yes,
it here,
yeah.
guys. If I come back and they try to lock me out, I'll be like, play the Ladder Cut.
Right. Once he gets shelter taken care of, then we can move on to podcasting in the hierarchy there.
Yeah.
Hierarchy of needs.
So we're also going to be taking a hiatus from the power rankings because Kyle is the
Indeed.
brainchild of that. So
Yeah, I
we'll
majored
be-
in art. I can't do the maths for that shit.
Very complicated algorithm of adding two numbers together and then making a list.
Yeah, no, I'm not a
Sorry.
I'm not a math major.
But,
I can't.
You
I
lost
can't
me at
handle
the
it.
second time
Yeah,
you said,
the
was
magic
it
stays with-
numbers?
Kyle TM.
I heard addition, but you lost me after that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I am of course into lists, and as a result, we will be maintaining the TV diaries, and let's go ahead and hit those now.
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
So, Kyle, why don't you kick us off? You said you had some things to tell us. Is it all HGTV this week?
No, but there is a lot of it. You know, it's bad when my TV diaries actually list the name of the shows and they don't just say, 20 minutes of HGTV in a hotel lobby.
Right.
But I have actually been like catching up because here's the big drama with HGTV, or I don't know if you call it drama, but they want in on that streaming cash, guys. So they got their own $3.99, $4.99, whatever service. We're not getting paid to talk about it. But essentially, all their like top, for my guess would be that like all their top paying, HDTV celebrities, they're now streaming only. They're now Mandalorian, WandaVision. All right. Which means there's a whole new crop of people that are coming in to HGTV, like Nate and Jeremiah save my house. Uh, yeah, they save houses. They put new countertops in. They rip the old cabinets out. There's
Not like
going
an
for
exorcism.
sold.
It's not a haunting thing.
Yeah, no. Going for sold's nice. The guy's been in real estate for decades, and his wife, who's been a flight attendant, has only helped with design in the past, but now she's going full time, and they're making a business out of it. No, they got fun personality. Watch like 10 episodes of that. What Rock the Block? That's where they get like the big ins from like all the different shows. So there's the guy from like My Lotto Dream Home. There's Mike Holmes from Homes on Homes. It sounds like I'm just making this stuff up. Check it out. I'm telling you, I'm not.
Randy, when your kids tell you about YouTube celebrities, is this what it sounds like?
It sounds a lot like this. All I'm hearing is a
But
buzzing
the
sound.
names are goofier.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is a very COVID tight way to do a show like this, because obviously you don't want camera crews going into unsuspect like a different person's house every week to film a show like this during COVID. So they did is they have a block with like 10 empty homes in it, and each week 2 people go into the house and they renovate part of this home, and it's like a competition. And it also features all of the big name celebrities. I think this is probably a COVID related thing. I've seen stuff like this in the past, but it does work very well for the times. Um, Outside of that, the other thing I really want, oh, Love It or List It. Have you guys ever seen that one? I watched
No.
a bunch of that.
I think you know
No,
the
I've
answer.
heard the
no,
name
Kyle.
of that one though.
Yeah, because that's their catchphrase. What people come into the house, all right, and they're like, "Oh, this house doesn't work for me. I hate it." So then this woman who is kind of like the fairy godmother, but like the reluctant fairy godmother, like she's kind of brash. She comes in and she's like, "I'm gonna make this house perfect. You just give me $10,000 over your renovation budget, and I'm gonna make this house perfect for you because it's always more expensive than you think." Something I'm learning in real life too. Uh, you just give me more money and I'll make it perfect. But then at the same time, there's this other guy. He's like the devil. All right. He's like, I'm going to find you a dream home. All right. And it's going to be in your budget. And then he goes around and he takes them to different houses and you like this one, you like that one. And then at the end, they see their house totally renovated. And they're like, oh my God, I'm in love with my home. I can't believe it. And then the devil guy comes out and he goes, yeah, well, guess how much your home's worth now? That dream home you saw earlier, it's even cheaper. And that's when they say, so are you going to love it or list it? That's the whole show. And I watched like about 20 of those.
So now what I want is an entire HGTV channel that is just devils trying to get people's souls through like crossroads deals, because like it's just people with like fucked homes, like living in like crappy places that are like, I just wish I had the dream, and the devil's like, oh, well, would you like a 2-story mansion?
That's why I say that. The guy twirls his fingers and he's like, this home has everything you want. Move. List your home. List your other house.
Les, it sounds to me like you're pitching HGCW TV.
Yes, and even the shows work. Like Nate and Jeremiah Save My House, like they show up and try to like cast the demons out, and like because you could do both sides of it. Going for souls.
Oh, there was a little supernatural vibe with those guys. Very sassy, but great design sense.
I would also love to see like a Winchester
The only
style
other big
thing.
thing that I haven't watched. Oh, my bad. Now I was gonna say, as to not derail this entire episode with HGTV, which kind of backfired when I tried to do the Desert Flippers episode, and our thumbnail was a piece of toilet paper. And they were commenting on it, like, "Thanks for talking about us." It's just like, oh, great. But no, the other thing that I watched that has just been on my list forever, is Always Be My Maybe on Netflix.
Love that movie. Yeah.
Gosh, so good. I've had the Punch Keanu Reeves song stuck in my head since last Thursday. Just choice. And then everything we're going to talk about later, I watched this week. Oh yeah, and I caught up on Unicorn, which I think you did as well, Randy.
Yeah, I did. Yep. Les, what about you? What was on your diary this week?
Let's see. Well, I of course caught Falcon and Winter Soldier, which we'll talk about in a moment. I also watched the first 2 episodes of the HBO documentary Q Into the Storm about quinoa, the recent
Oh yeah, I like quinoa.
insurgent conspiracy bullshit that resulted in the January 6th crap.
Right.
And I
You're not
guess
talking about
now
the
their
grain?
new no, I guess now their new move is that not how it's pronounced? Anyway, I think their new move is just gaslighting all of us that it's not existing anymore. The HBO doc so far is both infuriating and enlightening, and thankfully it is episodic. So like the first episode, they kind of get into just a general like, when did this documentary filmmaker first hear about this? So he started making this in 2018 when it was just starting to mainstream, and so it's an interesting point for him to jump in on. And in the first episode, they talked to some true believers who were like, "I voted for Obama twice, and now, I'm fucking crazy." Um, and that's scream at the TV, infuriating.
Yeah.
But then the second episode, he starts. It's a very nicely made documentary. Like the second episode, he starts to get into like the mechanics of like, okay, but where did this start? Where does this live? Like, where are these posts coming from? Is there some narrow list of people that you generally think are probably Q? And that kind of stuff. And so I'm glad that it's not all scream at the same person over and over.
Right. Yeah.
Now
I
I'm screaming at Jim Watkins in Manila because he's
I
fucking crazy.
I couldn't do it. I've heard bits and pieces of this from Reply All did an extended episode on QAnon and behind all the people behind it. And I know that watching this would just make me want to throw things at my TV.
I will say I can't find it on YouTube or I had to send it to you. The opening animation is on point. It is so nice. Like
Oh,
it's
I'm
just
getting on that.
gorgeous. And I
I'm
would
all about
recommend
me some
watching
animation.
watch the first or skip forward and just watch their title opening. It's beautiful. It's really cool. Anyway, so I watched that. Watched some episodes of The Office, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Rec, the usual palate cleansers after something like that. Of course, John Oliver, which is a great lead in to Into the Storm, and I think that's going to carry through his break, which will be great. Of course, I watched the Snyder Cut, 4 hours. I did not watch the 2 minutes. No, I'm kidding. I watched all of it. Good Wife season 1 finale, just because I knew Randy was there, and I kind of wanted to see. I forgot what all it got into. It's a 7-season show. You forget where things get introduced.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And there's so many characters that I know what they do later and how big they get, and I forget how early they are actually present. And so it was wild to realize that, like, oh shit, you're there, and you're there, and you're there, and you're there. Like, I know where all of you go later, but you've already been dropped.
Yeah.
Kind of peppered through. And of course, I've been watching a shitload of Elementary, which is on Hulu, weirdly, and not Paramount Plus. But whatever, we got it.
Huh.
It is weird where everything is, like figuring out where all the shows are right now.
Some of these things have got to just be sunsetting
Yeah.
contracts.
I feel like maybe in a year or two everything will be where it makes sense. I don't know. I watched I caught up on kept up with Superman and Lois, Resident Alien, The Unicorn. Of course, watched Falcon and Winter Soldier last week tonight. And then I went on a giant binge, longer than I've been on a while, which is I watched all of season 1 of The Good Wife, all 24 episodes.
Wow,
Jesus,
that is a
Randy.
long
I mean, I know you
binge.
don't like procedurals, and I wish it wasn't COVID because I kind of want to hug you. Like this has been one of those, like, I know it's not your speed show, but I love this show and I want you to watch it.
I really, really enjoyed it. I think The Good Fight is better, but it's such a similar show. I wasn't sure how similar. I was a little worried it was going to be a little more legal procedural. That I'm not a big legal, but it is not. It feels like It feels like The Good Fight. It is about the law and how it affects people, and I think that plus the just excellent casts just throughout is great. And then every so often you get somebody come in like Alan Cumming playing, is it Eli
Eli
Gold?
Gold. Yeah, and
Who's
he's already in season 1.
fantastic. And oh man, the investigator with the red hair, the lawyer with the red hair.
Is it Kalinda?
Not Kalinda,
No.
the lawyer, the sort of quirky one, who's also in The Good Fight.
Oh shit, yeah, Elspeth
Elspeth.
Massioni.
Elspeth shows up. I loved her in the Good Fight. She's
Yeah,
great
she's
here.
in Claws. I got to interview her at one of the ATX Fest.
And then Kalinda, man, Kalinda is just, this is her show. Like, I love
Absolutely.
Kalinda. All I've seen Archie Punjabi in so far was that terrible and
Departure.
Departure. And I was like, oh, I can tell she's good, but I hate this. And so it was really good to see her in something that was worthy of her talents. So
Yeah.
I'm on board. I probably will not go through another season in a week, but things just kind of worked out that way that I was able to. But I also finally got back into Smilf on Showtime, which I liked the first episode. I watched the first two way back when, I think, when we first covered it, and it's been sitting on my queue ever since then. I'm like, oh, I'll watch this, and I forget it's a pretty quick. It's like 30-minute episode. It's a quick one,
Yeah,
and
I do the same. I forget about it, jump back in, forget about it, jump back in.
and so it was like episodes 3 through 7, one season, quick season. I don't know if it was a writer strike or what, but I dug it. It's fun. It's weird. It's quirky. I was starting to realize that Showtime's brand, and this is kind of the thing that I'm not a big Showtime person in general, is that Showtime's brand is like quirky and sad. Like all their shows are quirky and sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
I like the
they all have
quirky.
those endings that just aren't satisfying, but like,
Yeah,
okay, I get it. That needed to happen for that character, but like, I don't want to rewatch this now.
yeah. It's like
Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
I'm there for the quirky. They did an episode that was a Run Lola Run riff, and that was fun as hell. But then there's also like all this stuff about her being abused as a kid and her being a terrible mom, and it gets a little real. And I'm like, man, this is, you guys have two speeds, and it's like Whiplash.
Well, I think even in like the very first episode, like she hooks up and like it's played funny of like
Yeah.
how frustratingly tired she is of not being able to like hook up or go on anything for her.
Yeah.
And she ends up like weird, like the guy flips out because they're having sex like next to her kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Who's like an infant.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, wait,
it's not like the kid.
Yeah.
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 It's not like the kid's like
He's
present.
He's
but
not.
like
He's
still,
not an infant. He's talking and shit.
oh,
Like,
that's right. Oh, that's right. He's a little bit, yeah.
He's
And the
too
dude
old.
like,
That
what
scenario,
the
the
fuck?
guy didn't need the sex as much as she did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a weird relationship she starts having with like this grocery store bag boy, and yeah, but Rosie O'Donnell plays her mom, and she's great. Yeah, it's super fun. I'll definitely go back to it. It's just, it has that weird sad thing. And then I diverted over to a rewatch that I left in mid watch, which is Happy Endings. I watched a couple more episodes of season 2, and I'll probably finish that out next week.
I enjoy that
I
show.
always
Is that
enjoy
Jack
that show.
Shepherd?
No, it's this is an older one. This is it's Damon Wayans and Eliza Coupe and Adam Pally, and it's basically a sort of slightly more woke Friends. There's like, they actually had a black guy in it, and they actually had a gay guy in it, and it's in Chicago instead of New York, but it's very sort of quirky Friends.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fun. I
it's
really
the
like
unicorn.
Happy Endings.
Yeah, something
The new
a little
quirky
bit,
Friends show.
except only one of them is a couple. So
Elisha Cuthbert
Ah.
is in it.
yeah, that's it. That's her. Yeah. And then I in wanting to watch Mank, since I'm a big Fincher fan, I finally sat down and watched for the first time ever Citizen Kane.
One of my
I would-
favorite Fincher movies.
I would also recommend, Randy, if you enjoy that and enjoy Mank, there's an HBO movie from a few years back, like late 90s, called RKO 281.
Yeah, I
which
remember
was
that.
the working title, and it's
Yeah.
Liev Schreiber playing Wells in
Okay.
the making of this.
All right.
And it's also very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier, I have this in Chinatown in my Amazon cart right now. Because it's just like, I know I need to watch them, and after I watch them, I'll probably tell other people they need to watch them, but I just haven't pressed the button yet.
Yeah, but you can skip Chinatown now because you'd be like, I just don't want to watch it because of Roman Polanski.
Oh, yep. I'm definitely not going to watch it.
If you want to, if you want the out, you could be like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it because of Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
How about this?
actually
I
was
promised to
discussing-
watch Fletch before I watch Chinatown.
Fletch is great, and I love
Fletch
Fletch.
is great.
I still have your emergency copy now in a box, but it was on the shelf.
All right, so that's our TV diary for the week. This seems like a good place to remind you that you can go over to patreon.com/tvdudes, throw us a buck an episode. In exchange, we get to keep up with our streaming services, pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. We don't know what the bonus content will be this week, but it'll be something. And we also
Still
have
percolating.
we also have our $20 showrunner level. So if there are shows you want to throw into rotation, You can buy into that level. Give us a couple of ideas. Doesn't have to be anime. I cannot stress that enough. But it usually is. All right, let's start off talking about old business. And let's start with our catch up on Superman and Lois, which is now, I believe, 6 episodes in.
Hmm. Can I start on this because, as we discussed earlier, I'm in a bit of a time warp. So when we originally talked about this, I hadn't watched it yet. I'd only seen like probably the first 10 minutes because
Right.
they do a great job setting this series up.
That
Mhm.
opening 10 minutes, I've told several people just to watch the first 7 or 10
Oh
minutes
yeah,
of it.
it's on YouTube also if you're
Mhm.
having trouble finding CW shows.
Yeah.
Just like all the stuff they knock it out of the park.
Mhm.
So I have only seen the first few episodes, which I'm okay if you guys spoil stuff. But before you guys get into that juiciness, I just want a couple quick thoughts about these first couple ones,
Yeah.
which, oh my gosh, this CG for a TV show is like up there with like
Mhm.
easily cinema quality from 10 years ago, but I think cinema quality of today, really, because they've blurred the line between, wait, is that CG? Or I guess everybody can do this flying effect now. So,
Right.
there was like a
Yeah.
couple times where the cape kind of flapped in the wrong direction, but you
Yeah.
had to like look so hard to find that stuff.
I'll say
Yeah.
this. This was it was more impressive before if it wasn't the same week we're talking about Wild Falcon and Winter Soldier, which really shows you like, oh, that could have just been in the movie
Holy
theaters.
shit, that's some
Well,
Disney money. Yeah.
but that's not
That's
only is
Disney
that
money.
Disney
But
money,
Yeah.
but it
those are
feels like 2
essentially
different
it's a
tiers of
Marvel
movie to
movie. They
me.
don't have to edit.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I know what you like, Kyle. It feels like 2 different tiers of cinema quality to me. Of like there's Pixar CGI movies, and
Mhm.
then there's
Yeah.
other companies CGI movies that
Yeah.
are sometimes like better story, or an amazing story or whatever. But they're not inventing all the fucking tech that they're using.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of how I've like Superman and Lois feels like, oh shit, I'd see this in a movie theater and not be
Mhm.
mad about it,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
does not happen on the other CW shows.
No.
Well, and I think the other piece of that is the costumes. Specifically, the Superman costume
Yeah.
is like it looks cinema quality. Like it's like something you would spend $1,000 for on one of those cosplay sites, to get like the one perfectly fitted to your body type or whatever. Like
Yep.
I
Yeah.
actually have my eye on a Spider-Man suit. So it is a real thing.
It makes him look good standing with General Lane and shit.
Yeah.
Like when he has
Oh
to
yeah.
stand around other people and isn't flying or
Mhm.
whatever, the costume still looks like has gravitas.
Yeah. I'll say
Well,
this. I think it's better than the Zack Snyder suit.
Absolutely, it's good that it has color.
yeah, I'll give you that. No, I think also if you're an actor playing Superman, on your worst day, you only have to do 2 things, all right? You have to make Clark Kent have a certain look and Superman have a certain look. And
Mhm.
it's so funny, like, especially when you have shows where, the same act like Dean Cain plays him, season after season,
Yeah.
they just get comfortable and you don't really see that difference. It's like this guy, he shows up, he does those 2 things every day and then some. But it's
Mhm.
just like so remarkable when he takes those glasses off and he makes a straight face and you're like, "Oh, this is a different guy now."
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing Christopher Reeve did so well, and it's been I don't know if anyone's ever done it quite so well. Tyler Hoechlin has a claim to be like the best or second best Superman. Like he is killing it.
And I still that stubble should have thrown like literally every time I see Superman with stubble, I think Red Kryptonite doing shots at the bar. And it it's fine. Like I had a friend of mine pointed out of like Hoagland's got a bit of a snaggletooth that's kind of endearing on his look, but I'm used to seeing like perfect Superman. I mean, Cavill looks like you grew him in a lab.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But my first thought was, what orthodontist would you take that child to? Like, what on this planet would move his teeth?
Kryptonite braces.
Right? Kryptonite.
Yeah, you need
Clark, why
kryptonite
is your
braces.
Invisalign glowing green in the dark, Clark?
And as Jason Lee would say, and that would kill him.
But yeah, I mean,
The The
Go
other
ahead.
big thing, just initial thing without seeing kind of later in the season is love that like Superman stories kind of always it's like with Batman, you're always like, do we got to see his parents die again?
Right.
Like we've seen the same story over and over again. And there's a little bit of that with Superman, specifically Superman TV, and they were able to do something completely new, but
Hmm.
still has essentially the same formula of like a young Superman story or like starting or like a young Clark Kent story, like a kind of Smallville model, but completely updated with like all the stuff we love about, I guess modern Superman, maybe adult Superman probably is a better way of putting it. Like you get the best of both worlds, I feel like in the
Hmm.
concept.
Yeah. I have to say, I was doubtful about this whole they're gonna move to Smallville, like, that didn't I was like, "That didn't make any sense." Lois Lane's supposed to be a big famous reporter. I was so wrong about that, like, moving them to Smallville, having him the notion of basically Superman having to slow down and change his life to that degree, and of his kids having to adjust to it, and having him have teenage kids. Like, we've seen
Mhm.
Superman have kids in the comics, but never we haven't had an extended period where he had 2 teenage sons. It's such a different vibe, and it works. It still feels like Superman.
Yeah,
Well, it's what Superman would do if he was thrown in that situation,
Right.
and it kinda makes your imagination go crazy because 'cause you're like, "Oh, shit, I wanna see widowed Superman with, like, 3 girls now." Like, Mr. Mom
I,
Superman.
I was glad that the move to Smallville lets them deal with Lois working at a newspaper,
Mhm.
which in 2021 you kind of have to address
Right.
newspapers
Right.
and the state of journalism and all of that.
Yeah.
And this let them do that, but without them having to ham-fistedly bring in these weird Lois big story,
Yeah.
Daily Planet stories that they were eventually going to have to forget about when things got busy in another plot. And instead, like you get her to Smallville where she can be an upstart at a paper that is willing to take these risks but doesn't have the backing to do it necessarily.
Mhm.
And you get this kind of cool plot line where Lois can be off doing her Lois thing of like, oh no, honey, I'm doing a different thing. You don't need to worry about it. I'll
Yeah.
yell if I need you.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's great because it let there. I was afraid by moving to Smallville that you would not be able to let Lois be Lois.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite lines is when she says, "You do your Superman thing, I'll do my Lois Lane thing."
Yes,
Yeah.
And it's like,
totally. And it was like,
"Hell
yes,
yeah, your
the
Lois Lane
the
thing."
writers understand that there is a Lois Lane thing.
Yeah.
She's in the title of the show too. I love it,
Yeah,
and I
I do
really like
too.
that actress for it.
I think she's been great. I like everybody in this. I think that everyone the weird one is their Lana Lang is not at all what I picture Lana Lang being, but I think that's okay. I think a recast and a rethink on her works.
Yeah, and
You know
I
what's
I just love the actress that played Sloane. She's fucking great.
yeah. What I find interesting about that character is I do see she's man, how do I say this and not sound like a total bro? Like I just got through watching a Entourage binge. Um, like she's really attractive and has kind of a flirty personality in a way that might make you jealous if your spouse used to date that person.
And they're not doing that, which I love.
No, but like she just carries the thread of it. I feel like by
Yeah,
presence,
Yeah.
but
they
but
they
then can
they
still
make
just be
like a
friendly.
couple like sly comments to it,
Yeah.
but it's almost like you said, it is recontextualizing the character, at least from what I've seen in other shows and what little I've read. But I don't know, I think the way that she's used in this show is kind of a neat, like, uh, for lack of a better term, like, obstacle in, navigating their new relationships.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
also the same way that like voices in harmony in a musical group or something like you want or on a podcast like you want people with different timbre voices you can pick apart.
Right.
I
Yeah, yeah,
feel
yeah.
like the casting she is so just different in presence than the actress playing Lois because too often
Yeah.
just the I mean everybody's named the same fucking alliteration and
Yeah.
everything like these
Yeah.
characters feel like you accidentally like did y'all intend there to be two characters or did you accidentally typo something like half the time I wonder that on these old characters, and so it's good to have people that just very much separate
Yeah.
these two people. The only casting I have real that just doesn't strike me right is her husband.
Oh,
What's his face, the fireman,
I think
and he's
he's
doing fine, but
yeah.
he's every time he speaks Spanish or runs into it, and I'm like, you seem too pretty to do this, dude. Like you just don't seem grizzled
That
enough.
character did seem to be just hitting a pinch below his weight class.
Hmm.
Um, There was something in episode 2 though where he's talking to Lois and he's like, "Hey, guess what? I looked up that thing you mentioned on the internet." And I'm like, this character in real life would never do that. He'd still be
I,
talking about how right he was.
I think I actually like that they're walking that line with him because they make him. He's the kind of jerk you wouldn't want to talk to at a party or a barbecue or whatever.
But he hasn't been evil yet.
But it's the same. Yeah, at the same time, you're like, you know
Mhm.
what? He's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just kind of a jerk. Like
Well,
there,
and he has different views,
yeah,
and she kinda comes like, Lois Lane would essentially be, like the Aaron Brockovich of, our world,
Totally.
like, just
yeah,
very,
yeah,
uh I'm is Aaron Brockovich liberal? I think, like the whole "the
yeah,
man's out to get you." You
yeah.
gotta
The crusading journalist.
Michael
Yeah,
Moore might
Yeah.
yeah.
be a better one, yeah. So I could see where anybody who even has, the slightest conservative leaning is gonna be threatened by that.
I think they're doing a good job with the subtlety of it too, which is that Um, they could easily have made him one note. They could have made the thing between Lana and her daughter one note. The all the family stuff is nice and layered and like everybody acts
It's
like a
rich,
human
yeah.
and yeah, it's they have fights, but I believe them. It's not like soapy drama.
It's gone a long way as to why. I mean, I like the actors that are playing the kids as well. I
Mhm.
didn't watch Little Fires Everywhere, so that kid's not marked for me on that. But
Oh, yeah.
uh,
That kid, like, legit and when I see him, I'm like, he has a Homelander poster in his bedroom, like, unironically.
uh,
I forgot that kid. So,
Yeah.
so it. But I mean, I like both actors, and they
mhm,
again, their presence. They look very different from one another, but I could still somewhat buy them as family.
mhm.
Um, and they're doing a great. But the main thing that they've got going for them is the writing. They keep doing things that make that turn back or go a better direction than the like. Oh, please don't do that. Oh, you're not. Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
The
We're gonna learn that lesson pretty quick and move on from it. Yay, thank you.
Also, pretty good pace too. Like,
mhm.
they don't meander on story points, like, they
No.
keep it rolling, at least in what I've seen. I'm
Speaking
kinda
of,
yeah.
what do you know at the point you're at about their Lex so far?
Um, so I
Captain
think at the
Luther.
point we're at, he has just sent that, like, drone suit to be like, "You gotta stop Superman, he's really a bad guy."
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Have you seen the evil Superman at all?
Don't they do a flashback right like
Oh, no, I
So that
haven't.
might be episode 3. They show a bit from his world, and it's like evil Superman. Um,
That sounds awesome.
the only reason that I'm pretty certain it's an alt world
yeah,
Lex
I'm
is that they show a character from the show
yeah,
who's in a situation he can't be in.
yeah,
Like okay, that's you on an alt world.
yeah.
So
It's
that's probably Lex from an
Mm.
alt world.
well, I
Okay.
mean, the betting favorite is that it's Alexander Luthor 3 where all the heroes were evil.
Mm.
And in the Crisis in comics, he was sent to our world, I think, and, in the we are post-Crisis here in the CW universe, so
Mhm.
it all kinda
Oh,
makes sense,
yeah.
but they're doing some interesting stuff with it. I like when they bring in their first, like, big superpowered bad guy. I mean, they had a few, but the big superpowered, like, assassin guy he throws down with a couple episodes ago,
That fight's so good.
that was a really good fight. Um, I have not seen it's only 5 episodes in, by the way, and I'm about halfway through episode 5, so I don't know where all that goes, but I'm really enjoying these sort of they're doing the freak of the week that Smallville did a little bit, like it is causing but it seems like Morgan Edge's mining is maybe what's causing it as much as anything else, and I I
It,
kinda I don't hate Smallville as much as I hate the Zack Snyder Justice League, but it's close. So I don't want this to turn into Smallville, but I feel like they're doing what Smallville did right here.
yeah, and then I believe it's the end of episode 4. They outright have Morgan Edge and his like creepy psychopath lackey,
Yeah,
uh, who also has an alliteration L name,
yeah,
Leslie Lar.
mhm,
Uh, and they stand and they actually call out the comic name of what they're mining.
right, and it seems like maybe he's using Kryptonian DNA or kryptonite of some different brand to basically make his own Kryptonians,
Yeah,
essentially, yeah,
Mm.
they're doing X kryptonite, in
right,
some kind of
Kryptolite.
yeah. Which I mean, there's like 25 or something different fucking kryptonites,
yeah,
half of which are no longer canon. There's
right.
pink kryptonite and all sorts of shit. But I think like
Isn't the
they've
red
done
kryptonite
kryptonite.
what makes him sexy?
Well, there used to be one of those that made him like super horny,
Smallville did it.
basically. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. And so I want to say they're doing either Kryptonite X or X Kryptonite or some shit that yeah imbues humans with temporary Kryptonian powers.
Right. That they can't
Which seems to be
control.
going super fucking great for
Yeah.
everybody who.
Yeah, definitely no fires started or anything. So
Yeah.
One thing I wasn't digging, and I don't want to dog on this actor because the actors wasn't terrible, but I just feel like overall the Jor-El in the Fortress of Solitude,
Oh, what a
Yeah.
fucking douche.
yeah,
I'm like, I feel like there's some missed opportunity. Brando played this role. Come
yeah.
on.
That's the thing. Jor-El's had so many good versions. I mean, didn't Terrence Stamp play an evil version of him in Smallville? Like,
Yeah, like for
Yeah.
real. Yeah. Yeah, what I like their Jor-El has less gravitas than the Doctor on Voyager.
Yeah,
Like-
no, great comparison. That's exactly. It's like, oh no, this is a hologram AI, right?
And like seriously, argue with your fucking hologram AI a little more. Like,
yeah,
no, there's no need to retest the kid. No, I'm telling you, he shot a laser from his eyes. No,
Yep.
there's no need to retest him. He's not crypt.
yeah. Well, you're a computer and I'm a person, so
I'm just saying, retest him. What would it
Yeah.
hurt? You know?
yeah.
What are you doing in the Ice Palace? You're busy.
But yeah, this continues to be really, really good. I'm digging it.
Yeah, it's the show I'm looking forward to most each week. I watch Flash before it because I want to finish on a higher note.
Oh, nice. Do you think that it was foreshadowing or character design that Superboy wears the black T-shirt, and that it turns out the kid that dresses in all black, you know,
I
has
hadn't thought about it, but that makes sense.
But they definitely mirror that a little bit. Yeah.
I also, I don't know where it's going, but I don't see it ending without both those boys getting powers.
I agree. I
Absolutely.
think it's very likely, except that maybe Jonathan will get different powers, like he'll get the speed or something.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It would be cool to split them half and halves.
Yeah.
Or Jonathan get whatever the weird electrical resurrection shit powers or something weird.
He only gets super breath. That's it. That's all the powers you get. Super
I could
breath.
do a
This
lot with that.
blows.
All right, so let's talk about another alien on our planet. Let's go talk over to Resident Alien over on SYFY, which Les, you've seen 3 of these?
3 of these, and they're great so far. 4 is up on Peacock, but I know the show's on like 6 or 7 now,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna let it pile up a little bit.
Episode 8, actually. Episode 8.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, we should start by saying, SYFY, why don't you want us to watch your television? Like,
They make it so we just got done talking about CW. Their app is great. Their website's easy.
Mhm.
You just go there. Their shows are right there. Hit play on it. We'd like you to watch them. Here's some commercials. It's this crazy thing we figured out.
Yep.
And then you've got SYFY, where like 3 or 4 years later,
Yeah.
let me tell
Yeah.
you about a show your friends mentioned once. Some of it is on a channel you pay for. The rest, who knows?
Yeah, and we've already canceled it because you guys weren't watching it. Like,
Yes.
it's the dumbest thing. But the show itself, I really love. It feels like USA more than anything else. This feels like a USA
Oh,
show.
yeah.
It's got that sort of quirky, episodic vibe, but there isn't a through line. And honestly, the cast is good. I like all the cast, but this is Alan Tudyk's like showpiece, and he's fantastic.
Oh, I love Alan Tudyk so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick a number 2, I'm only on the second episode, but the kid who
Oh
can see
yeah,
him,
yeah.
like
Mhm,
he's
mhm.
kind of getting to open up and get to see some of his range. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this like Dennis the Menace? But Mr. Wilson's
It's
an
his
alien who
Invader
wants to kill
Zim
everybody.
vibe. Yeah, and he
Yeah.
ropes that girl in, and she can't see him, but she's
Yeah, so I'm caught up. I'm on episode 8. I don't want to give you guys any huge spoilers, but I will say that one of the things that happens is that his not his deputy, but his like nurse, whatever, or is she another doctor,
Yeah,
the Native American woman.
Mhm.
yeah, his nurse. Yeah.
They're her and the bartender who's like a former Olympian.
Uh-huh.
in
Their
Silicon
whole
Valley.
their whole story really develops like they take a big center stage. And then the sheriff and his deputy get a lot more developing too.
Big Black. I'm not no.
Oh, the bowling scene.
Yeah. They also introduce, and this is a bit of a spoiler, so I'm just gonna warn you guys up front.
Oh,
His
bring
wife
it, but listeners beware.
his wife shows up.
Oh
The
shit.
the doctor's wife shows up, and she's British, and she's an artist, and she's like,
Oh.
"Why didn't you sign the divorce papers?" And it's this whole like thing where like she can't figure him out, and there's like that, and then like that whole thing is going on,
I've loved watching just in the 3 I've seen, the shit piling up of like the piece of the disc from his ship that causes things to levitate,
Yes.
which he has a tiny version of, making the apple in his place. But like, there's a guy that like falls off a cliff and gets caught in it,
Mm-hmm.
and like as soon as it happened, I was like, well, I mean, we've all seen enough sci-fi to know that like you, sir, are gonna starve to death in that field. And sure enough, like then two high, but it looks like from the commercials I've seen that the 2 hikers that come upon him have some X-Files nefariousness or some
So
shit
yeah,
going
I was
on.
gonna say you guys haven't seen the X-Files shit that's going on. There's a
Oh.
pair of partners, one of whom is like this badass secret agent, one of whom is more of a science guy, and and the person they're working for, I don't want to give it away, but it is someone who has a sci-fi pedigree, and I was like, oh, that is such a cool casting.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to it.
So yeah,
nice.
and then this latest episode, episode 8, there's a big status quo change that I've been waiting for since the beginning, and I thought they handled it really, really well. I really like where they're going. Like it starts off great, and as they continue on, it's just getting better. Like they definitely, this is not just a oh cool, I like Alan Tudyk, and this is all kind of fun. No, they are deepening the cast. They're deepening the story. Like it is definitely better and better as it goes along. So,
Nice.
Also, great creature makeup slash
mm-hmm.
costume. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
sure the practical versus the CG elements, but I have seen some like they do a lot of their settings with CG because they're in like a picturesque mountain town. But like it's all like really seamless. Like the technology for this stuff is just like the best we have ever seen
Yeah,
this year, like hands down.
yeah,
Hmm.
it looks great. I wish this was more easily available. I wish it was a Hulu show or something because
Hmm.
everybody should be watching this. And if it's, I worry that because it's stupid sci-fi, that basically it's going to go like 2 seasons and out because nobody's watching it because nobody knows where to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
'Cause-
watched it on, YouTube Live, but
yeah,
I hadn't saved it in my library, so I was still running commercials, and gosh, I feel like I spent another 30 minutes watching those commercials.
look, I borrowed a friend's cable login to watch it, and I have to watch the commercials, and that's fine. I will watch commercials. I will watch like the CW. Just let me fucking watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I it's a little frustrating because it's a great show, and I worry that it's gonna get underseen because of that. I think you can buy it on, like, Amazon and iTunes, and
But
there's
people don't
enough.
buy shows sight unseen.
I know, but I would say that it's worth it. There's not a ton of new TV on right now, so, this is one of the few things running that's really good and worth your time, if you're
We just
not
gotta
already.
see if it can survive, like you were saying earlier, the spot between now, when we mention it once, and, like, a year and a half when it finally makes it to Netflix,
Right,
Right.
and
right.
everybody's like, "Oh, that's that thing I heard about."
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
once they find it on Netflix, everybody will love it, but by that time, will it have already been
This will
canceled
be something
because
Alan Tudyk can complain about in the next Con Man series.
there you go.
Alright, let's do our spoiler warning. We're gonna talk about the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier over on Disney Plus. So if you've not seen it yet, this is a good place to wrap the episode for you. Come back later.
Can
Uh,
I make a quick connective comment between the Alan Tunic and the Falcon
but
and the Winter
but
Soldier?
you know I love a transition. Let's hear it.
Is he gonna be on that new Star Wars show with,
He is still voicing K2SO. Yes.
oh, so our man's gonna be making the jump here in no time, getting those
Yep.
Disney bucks.
Yep.
Yes, go Alan. That's great.
He hasn't been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet, but I'm sure that time is coming.
I'd still save money paying those checks.
Is Star Wars not? We
Yeah,
haven't
it's not in
pulled
the
all this
MCU
together
yet?
yet?
Still no Marvel Cinematic Universe. Patton Oswalt's working on
Yeah.
Oh,
I
oh
was
my
like,
God!
watch
Tell
that
me you
Parks and
don't
Rec
want
episode.
Oswald to be the Feige that blends the Empire fighting the Kree.
it. So I've already talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier twice this week over on the Roadcast and over on the MCU pod. So I'm gonna let you guys take the lead here, but I will start just by saying, but I fucking loved this. I loved it more than WandaVision.
I was shocked it was entirely in black and white. I can't believe it's full color.
No, that was Citizen Kane. That's Citizen
Oh
Kane.
yes. Release the Rosebud cut. We talked about how great the Vision fight looked at the end of WandaVision,
Mhm.
and like that that was the first Marvel TV show that you could intercut into the movie and me not know what came from what. I feel like they did it again. The helicopter shit is the craziest.
Oh
If
man.
that were a movie, if that were a Sylvester Stallone movie, or a Wesley Snipes movie or something like that, that we'd be calling that the craziest fucking stunt. If Jason Statham did that shit, it'd be in the theaters, the
Actually,
craziest stunts you've ever seen.
no lie, the craziest stunt, if you use the metric of so there's like this bonus stuntmen get. The crazier something is, they'll actually go up and they'll be like, "Hey, we're gonna give you $3,000 to break through this glass because even though it's sugar, you might still get cut." So the craziest stunt ever was somebody ziplined from one helicopter to another
Mm.
helicopter, or like an airplane to an airplane. And in the movie, the person like perfectly lands in there. In real life, this person got stuck on the side of the airplane, almost got sucked into the jet engine. So they got
Fuck.
$1 million to do that one stunt. Like on top of their stuntman pay, that was like their
Their
incentive or
bonus
whatever.
for
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
shit.
And I think they do that like 3 times in this sequence. Like
Yeah,
they go
man.
to 3 different
Talking
The-
about not
flying
knowing what's
vehicles.
CG and what's a practical stunt. I mean, I've seen enough crazy fucking Mission Impossible YouTube videos of Tom Cruise doing dumb shit,
Uh-huh.
but that I don't honestly know. But when it's so beautifully cut together and shot, you can follow the action. It literally, it looks like, I think Nick Tice put it when we were talking about it the other day. It looks like you had like, all right, we have a guy with wings. What is everything he could possibly do in an aerial fight?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Like,
it's like you tell him, well, his power is to fly, and they're like, oh, you mean like Vision and Iron Man who also have other like powers? What else does he do? No, he flies, and this is how you do. He flies, and it's cool. Like, yeah, he has the wings and the bomb and that kind of the little bomb he fires at the helicopter, but this is all about a guy who is he's a pilot
mhm.
Yeah,
in a
he's
flight
not a
suit.
gadgets guy either.
Yeah,
Because that's
he's
another
got
way that you could
gadgets.
describe him. Yeah, but it's more about like, if anything, he kind of feels like an extreme athlete. Like
Yeah,
somebody on the Red Bull team who's powering some like new prototype jetpack that nobody can fly except for this one person.
Yeah,
speaking
it's got the
speaking
same
of,
vibe as Hawkeye of like you are
yeah,
an overtrained SEAL Team 6 dude with with super tech.
speaking of extreme athletes, by the way, using the flight suits for his
Oh
the,
man, yeah.
such a clever way to have a big midair flight scene. This wasn't just him going from helicopter to helicopter. Like he had to chase
Mhm.
those dudes down in midair. That is so
And they were
cool.
kind of fucking with him at times too.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
really impressed. Like, yeah, that was fantastic. Like I really
Well,
impressed.
and those suits are legit. They like people can do
Yeah.
that in real
Oh
life.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
flying squirrel suits. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, people
Also,
face jump and shit.
also love them bringing Batroc back. He was great in the opening to Winter Soldier. I thought he was good here.
I really thought that they were going to run into each other in the first episode of
Hmm.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, and they've been wholly separate still, the
Yeah,
two main characters.
I thought it was an interesting choice.
But I like what they're doing with both of them. In retrospect, holy shit, should have seen the whole Winter Soldier thing coming from the first episode,
Yeah.
and I was still
Uh-huh.
caught off guard by it. Of like, oh, duh, okay. But it still worked. I mean, like, I was still caught off guard by it. It was really, I felt like, beautifully handled.
Well, what's funny is I thought when they showed him with an older Asian man, I thought maybe it was the Asian Howling Commando who had
Hmm.
gotten older and was friends with him.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh wait, it's not that. And that's when I clicked to, oh, I know what they're doing because they just showed us that flashback. But yeah,
Hmm.
they hit it just cleverly enough that you didn't see it until it happens.
Ooh. I also love that the flashback gave us some more badass Winter Soldier action scenes.
Right?
Yeah,
And I wasn't sure when we were, what he was remembering until he said Hail Hydra and was like, oh, fuck.
yeah, yeah,
Whoever you're killing here is good people.
yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing that I felt like they did really well, it pissed me off that they're doing the plot line. I mean, I know they cast John Walker. I know they're doing U.S. Agent, and somehow I was still angry
Yeah.
that Sam's not getting the shield and he's not Captain America. And I was like, you can't. Oh, this is exactly why you have to do this plot line. This is fucking great. Yeah.
What's so great is that
Well,
Sam got done dirty because he's so cocky. I talked about this on the MCU pod. Anthony Mackie is such a cocky dude, and he brings that to Sam, but Sam is not a cocky dude. Sam is like a confident dude. Like
Hmm.
he's like when it comes to like the banking and all that stuff, he's like trampling over his sister. He's like, no, I'm the Falcon. We're gonna get that loan. Don't worry about it. But when it comes to being Captain America, he's still the sort of humble guy who
Hmm.
got lapped by the super soldier, and he's like, I'm not worthy of this. And so he's like, if I'm not worthy of this, nobody's worthy of it. Let's just put the shield away. And the government was like, yeah, why don't you do that? Meanwhile, they already have a plan to give the shield to somebody else. And talk
Mhm.
about perfect. Like Wyatt Russell, he's a good looking dude, but they managed, whoever did the costume or whatever, or get
They
they
had to have built that
Yeah,
helmet to make his ears stick out and make him look like a goober. He
I
looks like fucking
noticed that.
Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys with his glasses off.
he looks like Carl from Up.
Yeah, like he has like Pixar eyebrows on
Yeah.
that helmet.
It's so good. It's like when they're sending Steve around to the USO shows in
Yeah.
like the cheeseball suit.
Mhm.
And like before, yeah, only even worse.
Well, I wonder if it's to make him look really scary when he starts just like murdering fools.
We'll
It
see.
might.
We will see.
Though, if they really wanted to do that, in the comics, U.S. Agent has the full Batman nose cowl thing.
Right.
Which is, to
Mm.
me, somehow more villainous. After just having had the explanation in WandaVision about, like, there is no fucking way that we're burying Vision at State or something like that.
Right.
He's worth a fortune in just the vibranium alone.
Yeah.
And like when Anthony, like when Sam like puts the shield on the thing and like,
Yep.
dude, put a replica shield. Do you know how much? Like, there's a national economy worth
Yeah.
of vibranium right there.
I have the same thought, and I figured there probably was a plan to like put a replica in or something, but actually
Right.
there wasn't. The plan was, as soon as Sam leaves, we're taking
Right?
this
Is
and
he
we're giving
is
it
he out
to
the
a white
door?
dude. Yeah.
Is the bird gone too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, Rhodey, bringing Rhodey in. What a great
Oh, that was
move.
cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was also like, wow, we're getting him episode 1. Oh, this is directly going into Armor Wars.
Flexing that Disney money.
Well, and I feel like everybody had all these expectations that we put on WandaVision, and they did such a good job of
I don't know what you're talking
subverting and exceeding them. We practically saw those first few episodes and all of the clips they released, but by the end of it, it's like we got none of that stuff we were talking about. But then seeing Rhodey in this first episode, it's like, oh no, this is what you expect in like a Captain America movie or an Avengers.
It's going to be so weird when it turns out he's not Rhodey. He's Ralph Boner.
Or he's a Skrull.
This did
He's
feel like
Martian Manhunter.
this did feel like Captain America 4. Like it's the same composer. The guy who's the showrunner, the writer, is someone from Empire, and it's the same director directing all the episodes, which I think is going to give it a consistent
So that
look.
dude left Terrence Howard at
Yes!
Empire and was like, where are you going, man? Nowhere. Don't worry about it. We're just, out with friends.
Summer vacation.
But also, what did you guys think of Sam's backstory, like seeing Louisiana and New Orleans and all that kind of stuff?
I dug that. I didn't know that much about Sam Wilson's character's backstory like that, and I liked that his sister's trying to roll with having blipped and come back.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, she didn't. He did.
No, sorry,
right?
she didn't. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So like, yeah, man, we know you're Falcon, but also you have no employment or credit for 5 years or 3 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That would be the kind of infuriating thing I feel like that would really happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he makes the like, dude, I didn't do that. You know where I was or wasn't. Like half the planet disappeared.
Well, and also, like, people point out, I think that they were putting this as a flaw, and I think it's actually meant to be implicit. It's like they're like, why couldn't like Pepper loan him the money? Like he knows people who are rich, like, and it's all there. Like the guy's asking him, like, do you Avengers get paid? And he's mostly just like, he doesn't see. He sees Falcon. He sees Falcon when it comes to wanting to get a selfie, but when it comes to putting his neck on the line and getting this guy a loan, he sees a black man he doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that is
and
so true.
Sam won't go ask these people for money.
Yeah.
Like Sam won't go ask Pepper for money. And I totally believe that. Like it never occurred to me that Sam Wilson would go. Because that really undercuts him being able to swoop in, no pun intended, and save the day for his sister.
Yeah, he's the rescue guy. Yeah, for sure.
He
Also,
didn't want to go beg.
His backstory in the comics is like he's like a former pimp who got mind controlled by
it's
Red
god
Skull.
awful. That started in like the 50s or 60s or 70s, right?
Look, Stan Lee was doing his best, but yeah, not great. So this reframing of his new backstory for the MCU is really good. I loved all the New Orleans stuff. I thought it was really, really interesting.
Mackey's
And I thought
also from New Orleans too. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was kind of wondering because I also just watched him in Synchronic, which was all New Orleans.
I thought it was interesting that, and Falcon is first billing here, but Winter Soldier doesn't. I didn't time it out or anything, but Winter Soldier doesn't get anywhere near the screen time that Sam does. He gets some interesting stuff. He gets the therapist, and I loved his interplay with that therapist. I loved
that was
her.
great.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're writing again? That's rude.
Like, you're a terrible therapist.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever seen a therapist that was an ex-SHIELD agent. So I kind of like the gruff, like, no,
Yeah.
look, normal therapists are not going to be able to talk to you. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved all of that. And the whole thing with his setup date and his list and all that stuff, like that's all interesting going forward. But this is very much Sam's show in the first episode. I'm curious how they're going to work them together.
I wonder if that's good. Yeah, I'm curious too. I wonder if that's going to roll, like that 60-40 split is going to flip-flop from episode to episode, or if when is Bucky going to slowly join Sam's show and then it even out, or how are we going to do it?
Well,
Yeah,
if
I
this
don't
is
know.
we're using the Lethal Weapon analogy, I feel like Bucky is the I'm too old for this shit, and like Sam is the young gun.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's the antagonists, the Flag Smashers.
Oh, which
Yeah,
wasn't it one character in the comics, and now
In
it's like an
in
organization?
in the comics, it's one dude named Carl Morgenthau, and they've got the woman who played Enfys Nest in Solo playing Carly Morgenthau, and then they've got some big buffed up dude who like kicks a cop at like Captain America style kicks him. So clearly he's got some buffing. There's a teaser there's an Easter egg in the credits. There's a couple of them. One of them is the name of a character who gave U.S. Agent his powers in the comics, and could be the guy who maybe is powering up some of these that power broker dudes, the Flag Smasher dudes. So that could be where the connective tissue is. We'll see.
yeah.
No way.
I'm interested. Like, this is a great gritty action soldier kind of show, and I'm digging it.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see the second episode. I liked WandaVision a lot. I really really enjoyed it. But this is the show I was waiting for. The Captain America movies are some of my favorites, and this is just such a great continuation.
And then, I mean, after this, we've got Black Widow and then Loki, right?
Well, no, we've got Loki and then Black Widow because Black Widow got moved.
Oh, okay, that's right, that's right. But it is hitting Disney Plus now.
It's going to hit Disney Plus if you want to pay the $30.
Disney Plus exclusive.
Yeah,
Oh,
No, I'd rather just spend $200 and rent a theater,
maybe.
fair.
Yeah, we may put
which
some
will
TV
also be an option.
I may be vaccinated by then, so fuck it.
yeah, we may put some TV dudes Patreon money toward that one way or the other.
Ooh, that'd be fun. That
Yeah.
would be fun.
All right. Well, that's all I've got for this week. And we will. I want to thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Les.
Thank you,
Thanks, Randy.
And thank you to our listeners and to our patrons. Thank you to Nick Tice, who has taken over the mixing and editing of this whole thing.
Indeed. So yeah, Mercs with Mics has been taking care of our editing now. It's great.
And producer credit.
Mhm.
And Les and I will be back at you next week. Kyle will be back at you in a little while.
In a few weeks. My contractor says 3. That seems hopeful to me.
2 weeks, like
Kyle.
a carrot over here.
Kyle, I keep telling you, we don't have a contract. We didn't sign a contract.
This contract here. I'll tell you what it says.
So until next time.
TV Dudes out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV dude Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.